Hello chess lovers, welcome to Creative Chess channel, and today is my next middle game lesson, which is devoted to the topic positional pawn sacrifice. Actually, pawn sacrifices are quite often used in chess, and there are several reasons why. First, we'll all know different gambits where you sacrifice a pawn, how like, for example, I usually do in wing gambit. You sacrifice a pawn trying to develop your pieces faster than your opponent and then try to attack him. It's number one. Then you can sacrifice a pawn trying to spoil the structure of the pawns of your opponent. It's also important. And sometimes we sacrifice a pawn to gain some square or to open our bishops. Today I'm going to show you one game played in 2008 between Krivoruchka and Smirin, where the pawn sacrificed was used to start an attack. And let's have a look at this game. So e4, c5, Sicilian defense. e6, d4, cd, knight takes, knight d4, e6, queen c7, bishop d3. Yeah, we are not going to devote a lot of time to the opening because here it's not the point of our discussion. Here just the white castled, knight f6 and f4. It's what I usually play. Sometimes I play, for example, king h1 to avoid all these checks, but here f4 was played without king h1. And of course, white is threatening e5. They want to gain some space and then to open the bishop. And when black castles kingside, they're going to attack weak h7 pawn. That's why a typical move here is d6, and it was played in the game. And here, quite unexpectedly, Ukrainian GM played e5. You see, he is sacrificing a pawn. So if we take, and okay, actually that was happened in the game. Here, black needs to understand whether they need this pawn to take it or not, and actually why was it given. Because Krivoruchka's GM, of course, it wasn't blundered, and okay, let's try to understand why. First of all, it's, you see, if to take the pawn, actually that's happened in the game, then the queen will be under attacks, and we'll see it later in the game. But if not to be greedy, if let's, for example, so the knight was under attack, let's just retreat. And what we see, what might white do in this case? Queen g4, a very strong move. We are taking g7 pawn, and if, for example, to castle, white has this usual idea of bishop h6, and already you see I'm threatening checkmate, so not very pleasant. Yeah, not very pleasant. Of course, queen, for example, can protect, but after rook goes to e1, you see that poor queen can't find a good square, and actually checkmate is coming. So let's return. So knight fd7. Oh, sorry, just take. Knight fd7, yeah. And here, for example, queen g4. Again, we're returning. If not to castle, what to do? Okay, to play g6. It's a natural move. In this case, we block this castle. We don't allow king to castle now. And king is stuck in the center. There are several possible variations. Finally, black can take the pawn. Okay, let's take, for example, with the queen. But rook a1, attacking the queen, then queen c7. And here, guys, you may stop the video and try to find checkmate for white. Actually, maybe it's not checkmate, it's checkmate in several variations, but actually it's a killer move. Just find it. White to move and win. Okay guys, I'm telling you the answer. Here the right variation, tactical skills, should be shown here to play rook f7. And the rook can't be taken, because if to take, then check. The king has only one square to retreat and checkmate. And of course, if not to take the rook, then it's clearly that's very bad position and it's completely lost. So you see, in case of knight to d7, so they would play queen g4 and try to attack g7 pawn. Okay, in the game, black preferred to take the pawn, and you see bishop f4. Black's problem, first of all, they are not developed. Two pieces are standing, sleeping, even the rook, yeah, is also sleeping. Besides, they haven't done castle yet, and at the same time, now their poor queen is constantly under attack, so they can't develop their pieces, yeah, they can't bring pieces into action just because they don't have time for that. Queen h5. Guys, you see, we can exchange the queens. Shall we do it? Of course not, because we lack a pawn. A king is stuck in the center. We shouldn't. Of course, no. Bishop e2, again, you see, again, we don't give black any chances to castle. Queen h4, g3, and finally, poor queen found a place for it. But now very interesting move, unexpected move came from white. It's move knight to e4. It seems that black can just take the knight. But the problem for black is that after bishop to g4, black queen is trapped. So that's why it's impossible to take the knight, and in the game it was played e5. You see, our bishop is under attack, but Ukrainian GM sacrifices it, plays knight to d6, takes, and black here played, decided to develop. You see, again, they can't castle, yeah, because here the queen is standing, preventing them from castling. Okay, it's great here to say about what might happen if to take this piece. But in this case, it's rook a to d1. Checkmate is coming with the queen, yeah? So how to protect? Let's say knight c4, bishop c3. We try to eliminate this piece and then again to checkmate. And if bishop d7, for example, another rook comes into action and just poor black king. You see, everything is under attack. Yeah, black is a piece up, but you see, king is much more important. It's in the center. And for example, one of the possible variations, knight wants to jump here. I remind you, I can't take the bishop because it's protected right at the moment. But after several moves like knight b6, you see it's where to put the rook. Have no idea because, for example, here it will be attacked by the knight, here by the knight, and if to play this way, then we can just, for example, take here. So, okay, then after knight bd7, yeah, instead of taking the bishop, you see bishop to take, yeah, just two open files, and then your king is under attack. That's why black tries to develop pieces, the faster the better, but it's too late. Rook f to e1, knight e4, attention, queen is under attack, queen b4, we're attacking the knight, and still we hold this diagonal. Of course, it will be very crazy and stupid of white just to give black opportunity to castle. That's why they hold this diagonal. f5, bishop f3 was played. And finally, black took. They took this bishop, bishop took, fe, and the rook comes into the game with decisive effect. It's check, king should go, king to d8, rook d1, queen h6, By the way, why queen h6? Because queen to b6 is checkmate. You see, let's imagine we play like this, for example, then it's checkmate. You see, it's the pin. And so what to do? The checkmate is coming. Of course, it's impossible, for example, to try to run away with the king, because again, we can return the king and checkmate again from the same thing. And okay, and the game was played queen h6, trying to protect this b6 square, but rook d6 and black resigned. There is no protection, so here black has to give their queen. And of course, without a queen, with such a king, it's useless to go on playing. So if we return and speak about positional sacrifice, pawn sacrifice, because it's our main topic today, we see that here Krivoruchka sacrifices a pawn to start the attack on the black king, and which he successfully did. But it's not the only pawn sacrifice, not the only reason to start the attack. Next time, in my next video, I'll tell you about pawn sacrifice in terms of long-term initiative, because sometimes you sacrifice a pawn and you don't attack a king, you don't win very easily, you just get a long-term advantage, which you are going to convert into a winning situation. So guys, thanks for watching me. Please subscribe to my YouTube chess channel. See you in my next videos, and bye bye.